Mano sole, chiumelone, o sole mio, sta in fronte a te, o sole mio, sta in fronte a te, sta in fronte a te. And that's my operatic voice.
Deep. It's
So,
good, man.
Hope I didn't break stuff or something like that.
No, that was phenomenal. I think the neighbors are probably pleased.
Okay, good. Good for that.
Well, good. So talk about your youngest time. How did you first get into this industry?
Oh, man. Ooh. Okay, I know when that was. It was back in 1989 because my dad passed away in 1988. And I was just trying to get into Hollywood and do things in Hollywood because I lived in California and I used to go to auditions and stuff like that. I went to an audition and I got a call back, and it was for a commercial, which was a General Electric commercial, which is a national commercial. And they chose me to go on the stage of the Shrine Auditorium and sing La Donna Immobile from Rigoletto, and I sang that on stage, and then they incorporated it into this TV commercial, and they had me on there for 3 seconds or so. And it was like that, and it shows, that's what it shows. And I made like 75 grand out of that thing. I became a member of SAG-AFTRA. That's when I first became, 1989 when it was. And I started thinking, wow, this is pretty nice. And then I did other stuff. And it's been so long ago, I can't even remember the other stuff. But I did a California Lottery commercial, another one. And then I started doing things. I did a lot of extra work way before that. Like I was on 1941, a sailor on 1941. In the movie Hook, Robin Williams said, "How you doing, sonny boy?" Every morning when we'd start shooting, he'd say that to me, and smile and stuff. So Robin Williams, talked to me and stuff. Dustin Hoffman, on the other hand, he and I have a friend of mine that was a LA cop that was his bodyguard for a week, and so I mentioned that to Dustin Hoffman. He goes, "No, I can't remember that." He was not very friendly, let's put it that way. So, and when you're an extra, you're never supposed to talk to any of the stars. Well, I talked to Sylvester Stallone, in Rocky 2 when I was on there. So that didn't mean anything to me. In fact, it just gave me a reason to talk to him because I was on the set with him, I was on the set with Susan Anton. She was very nice, about 5'10", blonde actress. She did a movie called Golden Girl. And on that set, I was just in the background and stuff like that. And I went up to her during a break or something, and I had my little camera, and I took some pictures of her. She goes, "What's that for?" I go, "Just for me." She goes, "Oh, okay." And she kissed me on the lips, which was pretty cool. I don't know why, but anyway, back then I was, better looking than I am now. I guess I've changed after the plastic surgery. No, I'm just kidding. So anyway, I started singing and doing that kind of stuff. But then I moved up here in 2014, and I haven't really done that much, except for I did 4 episodes on a TV show called Going Home, and that was really fun. And the director was Dan Merchant, and I've talked to him since, and I asked him, when's season 3 coming out on Going Home, so I can, because he told me he'd make me a regular and let me sing on the show. That's what Dan told me. So this business, like I said, it's hard, so. Another thing, let me see. One time, I used to sing the national anthem a lot because of my voice. And I used to sing at Angel Stadium in California, home of the California Angels. And come to think of it, Nolan Ryan was a pitcher, for the most famous pitcher probably in history, because he had all these, perfect games and all this stuff. I spent the day with him doing a TV commercial when I worked at Disneyland. We spent the day at Angel Stadium, and I was King Louie the gorilla, the character, and he was the pitcher, and he'd pitch to me, and he'd throw a bunch of bananas and as King Louie the gorilla. So that was the commercial. So I got to spend the whole day with him, just he and I and his camera crew. So I got to know Nolan Ryan, which was pretty cool. And then when I was singing at a prayer breakfast for Congressman Bill Dannemeyer, he invited Pat Robertson of the 700 Club to come, and so I had breakfast with Pat, sat right next to him because we'd sit at a special table, and so he told me about Romania and how they were giving Bibles away to the main place there, and they were having riots because everybody wanted a Bible. And then the next time I remember Vice President Dan Quayle was the guest, and so I sat next to him and he poured me coffee and stuff like that, and we talked about him graduating summa cum laude from Princeton, and everybody said Dan Quayle was a dope. The guy was a really sharp guy, super nice, stuff like that. So anyway, I got to meet these guys and interact with them and be friends with them, And in fact, I have a letter from Dan Quayle that says, "Gary, thank you for your participation, at the breakfast and this and that," and signed Dan Quayle, stuff like that. Let's see what else I have here. I was asked to sing the song "Danny Boy." Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling. Anyway, that song, beautiful song, one of my favorites. I was asked to sing that in a movie that was directed by James Brolin, who had just married Barbra Streisand, and the movie was called My Brother's War, and it was about the conflict between the Protestants and so in Ireland and whatever, and they showed the first scene of the movie showed this father and his sons running to push the car to get it to run, and then they're going past the church, and he goes, "Look, boys, there's the church. Let's," and all of a sudden, bam, he gets shot in the head with a gun, and all the while that's happening, my voice is singing Danny Boy over the radio in the car. Really cool part.
That is a cool scene.
Oh, really cool scene, man. So anyway, so I did that. Let's see. I recorded songs for Pioneer Records, about 20 songs. One of them was "Lady, are you crying? Do the tears belong to me?" John Denver song. And I did about 20 songs for them for their laser discs. Remember Pioneer laser discs? That was back way, a long time ago.
Maybe, I don't know.
Well, anyway, there were these big discs, and you put them in a player, and it would show the video, and it was anyway, it was really cool.
Oh, cool.
So I did that many years ago. I've been riding horses since I was about 7 years old, and I always rode horses in the field where I used to live. I'd go across the street, and there would be a big pasture there, and there'd be horses come up to the fence, and instead of me just feeding them apples or carrots or something, I'd jump on their backs, and they would start bucking, usually. And if I didn't hold on, I'd be bucked into like the cactus patch. So I learned how to ride really well, holding on with nothing but just their mane. And that's how I learned how to ride a horse, which is the best way to learn. When you are bareback, you learn your balance on a horse. When you have a saddle on, you can balance yourself with the stirrups and all that stuff. No. If I was going to teach somebody how to ride a horse, I'd go, "Get on the horse. Where's the saddle?" There's no saddle. You get on the horse. And that's how you learn how to ride a horse. That's my story. So anyway, speaking of horses, I've been riding horses. When I moved up here, I used to work as a caregiver for a place called Brookdale Park Place. And I used to take care of the Alzheimer's and dementia people. And this woman, her mother died, and I took care of her mother. And the woman said, "Hey, I have several horses that haven't been ridden in over 2 years." And I went, "I'll ride them for you." At my age, dumb me. So anyway, I start riding this horse, and he starts bucking. And I went, "I'm too old for this." But I rode him out. I didn't let him buck me off. And we became friends, man. I love this horse. Perfect, super horse. Did anything I asked him to do. Over water, over through bushes, everything. Come to find out, she goes, "Oh, by the way, That horse you've been riding is the great-great-grandson of Secretariat, the most famous horse in history. Have you heard of Secretariat? Well, look it up. Secretariat was the most famous racehorse ever lived. Okay, that was cool. Okay, what else?
Well, let's go back to Hook.
Okay.
So what did you do? What was that like every day on the scene?
I did that for a week, and it was just a background thing. I was in the background as one of the people that were sitting in the theater in the beginning of the movie, But whenever they took a break, I'd go up to
Mm-hmm.
That's where I was. In fact, I don't even know if you can see me in the movie, just like Rocky, just like those movies. But I did get to on 1941 when we had a break in the commissary. I was sitting in there and I spoke, and all of a sudden Jack Nicholson and Danny DeVito show up, and they came up to Dan Aykroyd or somebody and was talking to them. So I got to meet them, and stuff in the commissary when we were eating lunch or something. It was stuff like that I really. I had a friend of mine that was an actress, and she and I used to go up to Hollywood and hang out and stuff. Well, we're hanging out at Universal Studios or someplace, and there's this cabana, this little like apartment thing, and out comes John Belushi. About a week before he passed away, he had a T-shirt on. He was like wiped out, couldn't even barely talk. We talked to him. John, what are you doing? Oh man, and it was kind of sad, but that's how I met a lot of people. But I know there's a thing called name dropping, and when you name me, you think you met so big whoop, Well, I'm just mentioning it. It doesn't mean anything to me. It's just part of my life that I've gotten to do is meet people, that were movie stars or whatever. In fact, when I worked at Disneyland, I met Cary Grant, I met Rock Hudson, I met, a lot of people that now, were pretty famous actors and actresses,
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, well, I feel you. When I was in the Marines on the West Coast, they called us Hollywood Marines but we had mountains.
Yeah.
All right, but either way, they called us Hollywood Marines, and there was no shortage of film crews going through the base and filming things, whether it was somebody's music video and often Marines are hoard out to go be free extras in these things. It was strange, like living in Southern California, just being around that, you get saturated with those sort of industry people that are always passing through the base, whether it was Arlie Ermy, he was like a whore.
That guy, the Army guy, yeah.
He was in the Marine Corps, but he got around.
Probably the most famous one.
Yeah, he got around. It's a strange. My ex-wife had dinner with him because one of our neighbors knew him. It was just random things, but that's not uncommon down there. And when you're around it, when you're around the industry, and it is cool. But it's cool to be like, oh, I finally met you. You're not as tall as I thought you were.
Oh, yeah.
Or you look like a crackhead. Or you are not hot in real life. Or all these things that you don't realize.
James Brolin, to mention, just because of him, when I first met him, he was like, because I went to the premiere, of the My Brother's War, because I sang that song. So anyway, I go up to him and I go, hey, where's Barbara, and he goes, oh, she couldn't make it tonight. And I know why, because she didn't want to take his spotlight away. That was his night, man, as the director, of this movie. But he's kind of a tall, skinny, lanky, goofy-looking guy in real life. But in when he's on film, he looks, like a big strapping guy. But when you see him in person, he's kind of skinnier than I thought,
Mm-hmm.
So that's funny how you mentioned that. People change under the camera, They look different.
Yes.
Very much.
So the camera adds 10 pounds. Do you think that's a myth or true?
I would say it's close to being true. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I would say it does add weight. And all the short people, like Dustin Hoffman is really short.
Yeah, he is.
Robert Redford's really short. There's a lot of short guys in Hollywood. Sylvester Stallone, he wore big old lifts under his, on his shoes because I looked at him, and they were these big, kind of like, because he wasn't very tall either, but it didn't stop him from having a career, did it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, that's the thing, and I knew that whenever I did stuff on stage, like because of my singing voice, the thing that broke my heart the most was way back in the '70s. I could have sung all those songs that are like the Broadway shows like South Pacific, even though my voice is a high tenor, I could have sang, "Some enchanted evening, you may see a stranger." It's more of a bass baritone sound, And the director of the show, not South Pacific, but the shows that I would audition for, she said, "Gary, you can never do a lead role because of your height and because of your build. You could never be with a leading lady." And that kind of hurt me. But I realized that, so what? I still like to sing. And so I did it anyway and got character parts or whatever. Were really neat parts. Like in the movie Man of La Mancha, not in the Broadway show Man of La Mancha, I got to work with this guy, and I played the barber, which is like the second lead almost. It's the comedy relief of Man of La Mancha. He has this barber. "Oh, I am a happy barber," and it was a great part. I got to work with John Raitt, who he starred in the show Carousel back in 1953 with Shirley Jones. And so he and his daughter is Bonnie Raitt, who was a famous singer and songwriter and everything. Well, I got to do Zorba the Greek with him and played Father Zaharia, who was the Greek Orthodox priest in the thing Zorba the Greek. So I got to play a lot of great parts with some really famous, actors, and it's been really fun. I've had a great life, and I've also, gotten to do other things, like ride horses and be, out in the Tules and stuff.
Damn. That is a good thing.
Yeah.
That is a good thing.
Because I kind of was a cross between a guy entertaining people on stage and a guy that gets on my horse and goes out in the, on the trail, So I remember a woman saying to me, she was a psychology, person, and she said, "Gary," she goes, "you're kind of between things because you like to be alone a lot. But then again, you also are an entertainer and like to be around people, but you're more like a anti-socialist person because you don't really like to be around a lot of people, but when you're entertaining, you have to be." So, and I've done that all my life, being on the stage, entertaining people. So I'm used to that, In Brigadoon, that was another Broadway show. Brigadoon, Brigadoon. There was this great song called "Come to me, bend to me, kiss me again, darling, my darling." Anyway, it's a great tenor song. Well, that's the star of the show does that. And then me, I got to play the part of Archie Beaton, who was the father of this guy that dies and stuff like that in Brigadoon. So I got to play a lot of great parts, and I don't ever regret doing that.
Well, good. Yeah. So talk about your first time on Broadway.
Oh, man. Oh, I know what it was. It was back in the '70s, and the show was called Kismet. And it was, and I played the part of some kind of, not a real big part, like a chorus part in that. And that was back in the early '70s. But I was just out of high school back then, so I was pretty young. And I thought, wow, this is fun. And that was at the Fullerton Civic Light Opera Company in the town next to mine. I grew up in Brea, California, and this was in Fullerton, and they had a light opera corporation company, and they do all kinds of shows all throughout the year and everything. And I tried to audition for them, and pretty soon I became kind of a regular, auditioning for those shows. So it was fun.
Well, good. So talk some more. Like, what else did you think? How do you prepare for opera?
That's funny because I was in an opera I mean, this was a real opera. This was like really kind of classical opera. There was a woman who has passed away, but she was probably one of the most famous sopranos in the opera world. Her name was Dame Joan Sutherland, and she did an opera called Norma, which was by Bellini, who wrote it, and that was up in Hollywood. That was in L.A. at the L.A. Center, Music Center. That was that's probably one of the only operas I really did. I mean, I'm an opera singer. Well, I haven't been in a lot of operas. I have an operatic voice, but I never could do, those operatic roles because of my size and my height and everything, and I didn't want to be in the chorus because I'm a soloist. So I never really auditioned for, oh, you're in the opera chorus, oh, fun, I enjoy that. When I moved to Spokane up here, I joined the Spokane Chorale, the singing group. There's about 80 people in there. And it's a beautiful group. They sing with the Spokane Symphony all the time. And the first concert we did was a Christmas concert. And I got chosen by the director to do a solo. So that was like really cool. Being out of all those people auditioning for this part and singing a song called God Bless Us Everyone from the movie A Christmas Carol. Mm-hmm. And that in that movie, Andrea Bocelli, the famous tenor, sang that in the movie, and I got to sing it here up with the Spokane Symphony.
That's good. You're staying
great.
Active in the community.
But then I quit that group because too many people. Like I said, I just don't. I don't sing in a lot of big groups anymore. I just don't like to. I'd rather sing solo stuff.
Well, I think that's your calling, though, is just getting in those big groups, and then your voice stands out, and then before you know it, you're selected for all these things. Like you're probably the center of these people, and you don't realize it.
I haven't auditioned for anything with any groups in Spokane that was almost 10 years ago. I mean, I just don't do it, because I don't know why. I think I'm hoping to do something in like a Hollywood thing, like a SAG-AFTRA type thing. But then again, up here, I don't know what to do because there's really nobody to speak to and stuff. And I have an agent, but she has never once used me. Gotten me a thing for Hollywood for a movie or something, because she usually sends me to non-union stuff. And I tell her I can't, I can't do that. She ought to know that because you're not allowed to do that.
And why be in the union?
Well, because you get paid like $670 a day. That's why. When you do something, that's a lot of money, And if you could if you get on a feature TV show, and you're a regular on a TV show, that's worth the money. And if the TV show happens to be popular, then there's that season 2, season 3, then you become kind of like, I don't know, it's worth doing to me. Because she asked me, because she goes, well, you need to quit SAG-AFTRA and just do non-union stuff. I don't want to do non-union stuff. I want to do big Hollywood stuff that pays more, So that's why my life is kind of like in a, I don't know.
So working for the union, can you not do non-union work?
You're not supposed to. That's just one of the rules of being a member of the Screen Actors Guild and the American Federation of Television and Video Artists, which is the radio and recording industry, as opposed to the acting, SAG, And
how hard is it to get into the union?
You have to have a speaking role in a movie, a film, or a commercial. And that's a conundrum because you can't become a member of SAG-AFTRA unless you have a speaking role, and you can't get a speaking role unless you're SAG-AFTRA. It's the weirdest thing. But that happened to me, luckily, back in 1989. So ever since then, I've been a member of SAG-AFTRA and paid my dues and everything like that. So
how would somebody join the union now?
I guess they get chosen by a casting director to do a part. Let's say oh, we're going to do a TV show about so and so, and we're auditioning people. Okay, come in, and oh, we chose you. So, and then the first time they start filming, if that person has a speaking part, they get to join SAG-AFTRA.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Okay. So what do you think the future of the film unions is?
Wow, in Hollywood, it's changed so much. I don't even follow Hollywood stuff at all. I don't watch the Academy Awards. I don't watch anything because they've just changed so much, and the language itself, the profanity that's in our country today. You know, the F word and all these things that people say, oh, and they swear a lot. And I'm not a person, I don't do that kind of stuff. My job is to glorify my God who made me. I'm kind of a Jesus freak, you know, and a lot of people don't like that. In fact, they get persecuted for that. I get made fun of for that. I get not chosen for things because of that, because that's the way the world is. The world is of the evil, and the good is God, and so it's God versus evil, whatever. I don't know how to explain it, but I don't want to start preaching right now. So anyway, it's a good question though.
Hmm.
I'm caught between the two worlds, see?
So what do you think is the future for yourself? What do you think's going on next?
What I've been doing every Sunday is looking forward to every Sunday morning and every Sunday after, well, not Sunday mornings because I don't even sing in church on Sundays, but we just got a piano player, so now I'll be singing more because we didn't have a piano player, and the songs were out of this sultry hymnal that I didn't even know the word, you know the songs, but now I can read them because I'm a musician. And so now with a piano player, I can sing loud, and I can sing and fill up the church with song. And they like that. They love singing in the church. And it's just now starting for me. So I do that on Sunday mornings. And then on Sunday afternoons, a friend of mine is a chaplain, and he does a retirement home thing. And on Sunday evenings, he asked me to be his worship leader and sing songs for him there. So that's pretty much the only thing I do as far as singing goes. I don't sing anywhere else, which I wish I could. I wish I could sing in a band. I'd love to sing in a 70s band that sings, all those songs. When you think of the 70s, to me, those were the most golden years of all because you could sing, songs from the swing period, the great big bands like Glenn Miller and everything. You could sing songs in the 70s about Glenn Miller back in the 40s. You could sing all the songs, the old standards. That Tony Bennett and Frank Sinatra and all those singers sang. You could sing folk songs that Peter, Paul, and Mary sang. Puff the magic dragon, live by the sea. You could sing all those songs. The 70s were the best because all of that music would be included in the 70s. It's never happened since, and it never happened before that. So the 70s were the best for music. Now I have no idea what kind of music they like, this rap music, which isn't music, this whatever. I don't listen to the radio, but when I've heard the radio, it's like it's not very, it doesn't impress me,
Yeah, radio is not really listened to much anymore. It's kind of dying, kind of like the old Hollywood.
Exactly. Yeah, it's kind of sad what's going on.
That's why I like YouTube. That's why I embrace YouTube. I see it for what it is. Independents like myself can go out and create my own following. I don't need a distribution network. I know how to.
I would love to have a YouTube following and people write in the comments, Gary, please sing the song so-and-so from the movie, what was that? Oh, there was a great movie with Steve Martin, Chevy Chase, Three Amigos.
Yeah, Three Amigos. Yeah.
There's a song that I learned, it goes, boom, 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 and it goes, anyway, it's it's just a song that I like, you know. And some of the movies have wonderful songs, but if somebody requested that on my YouTube channel or something, and they said, "Please sing that song," I would do it. You know, I would love to do requests of songs that I could do, and if they were too, you know, heavy metal or whatever, you know, I wouldn't do them. But if I thought it would be good, you know, I would do it. I would love to be able to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, that is good stuff. So tell me about an influential movie. Have you ever seen the movie?
Yes, I have. It was wonderful.
Oh God.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh God, what the hell is it called? Oh well.
I threw you off.
Yeah, it's no.
Who was in it?
Oh, it was an old one. It was.
Yeah.
It was back. It was one of the first old ones. People talk about it. The Rosebud thing. Rosebud.
Oh, okay. I know.
Citizen Kane.
Citizen
That one.
Kane. That's the movie.
Yeah, I just rewatched that.
Oh.
And I was pretty impressed with.
Oh
that.
yeah.
I was like, man, this is
I
phenomenal.
love to watch old
cinematography.
movies. One of my favorite old movies of all time is, and I think it's the greatest love story, is called Wuthering Heights. And it was back in the 30s with Sir Laurence Olivier, and Merle Oberon is in it. And it's a story of a guy that used to be like just a stable boy and everything, and nobody liked him. And all of a sudden he went and he left because they didn't, you know, he had this friend that was part of the family, and they would always go meet at Kenaston Crag, which was, I'm going to start crying because it's so wonderful. They meet at this rocky place outside down in the moors, and he and his girl, and they go, "Let's always be here, and you're the king and I'm the queen, and we'll always remember this and we'll never forget." And so they loved each other there, but then when they were back in the house, he was just a servant boy and she couldn't even talk to him hardly. So it became a wonderful love story. And there's one called, I'm so emotional. There's a movie called On Borrowed Time with Lionel Barrymore, and it's about this old man that has this grandson, and he's in a wheelchair, and this Grim Reaper, they call him Mr. Brink, he's living up in a tree, and anybody touched that tree, the birds would fall to die and stuff. And so Mr. Brink didn't want to suffer anymore, and he wanted to have Mr. Brink take him, but then his little grandson fell off of this fence and was crippled also, and so he's holding him and he's going, "Mr. Brink, please help us," you know. It was amazing. Anyway, there's a lot of movies. Oh my gosh, Legends of the Fall with Brad Pitt, one of my favorites. One of my favorite westerns was Lonesome Dove with Robert Duvall and Tommy Lee Jones. There's so many movies. I mean, thousands of movies. I used to watch Tarzan when I was a kid with Johnny Weissmuller, and that was one of my favorites because at that time I had a big stand of trees. It was eucalyptus trees, and I would actually climb the trees and jump from one tree to another. That's how I was not afraid of heights at all because I was Tarzan at the time, you know. And we used to build tree houses, and we used to play up in the tree houses. Those were the greatest times of my life, you know, back in when I was just a kid growing up. I used to be able to ride horses. I used to hunt, you know. I used to just, it was wonderful times, wonderful times. I miss it.
Yeah, talk about hunting. What was your furthest back memory of that?
My first memory of hunting was going with my dad. And I grew up on a ranch, which was the Yorba Ranch, which is my family. My great-great-great-great-grandfather is buried in the San Juan Capistrano missionary, the mission there. He's buried in the graveyard, Jose Antonio Yorba. And that's a tiny graveyard. There's like 25 people in there. And that goes back to the 1700s when they came across from Spain, and the King of Spain gave him a land grant. And at one time, the Yorba Ranch was almost 91,000 acres from Riverside to Newport Bay and everything in between. All of Orange County and everything was
that's
the Yorba
huge.
Ranch. Yeah, and they had an adobe hacienda,
Mhm.
which had over 50 rooms in it, and this was like in Santa Ana Canyon, and that was part of the ranch. And they had a bakery, they had a livery stable, they had a school, they had a church, they had in this 50-room, place because there were no cities around there, so you had to have everything, at your house
Mhm.
back in those days. So anyway, I grew up on the ranch, and when I was growing up, been reduced to 660 acres. So the first thing I remember was going out to the ranch, and my grandfather was a big game hunter in Africa, and he used to take me out, and we'd drive the car along this dirt road, and then we'd see a cottontail rabbit, and he'd stick the gun out here, and he'd teach me how to aim and everything, and I started shooting rabbits when I was about 7 years old, with a 22. And so after that, I would go to the ranch. My parents would drop me off with grandma and grandpa, and it was in a whole bunch of orange groves. There were orange groves surrounding the whole house. It was a 10-bedroom adobe house. And the first thing I'd do is help grandpa do whatever his chores, and do the yard work. And then I'd get to go with a 22 that he made, let me borrow. It was an old pump, Winchester 22. And I'd go through the orange groves all the way up to the top of the hill and go rabbit hunting. And I'd bring 4 or 5 rabbits home every time, And that was pretty good. I grew up being by myself. A lot of time I spent alone, but learning how to, shoot rabbits and hunt, and it was wonderful growing up, man, on the ranch. So I did that, and then Grandma, she was Spanish, she was a Yoruba, and so she would say things like, "Don't you go letting stinking bums in my house,"
Mhm.
She was hilarious. I loved them. I never got spanked by them. I mean, it was just so cool. She would make food like, here, have this breakfast, and it was like calf brains and eggs, or something like that, or frog's legs, and nobody used to cook that kind of stuff,
No.
So my grandma, showed me how to eat stuff and acquire a taste for it, like cow tongue, or yeah, or like what's it called, menudo. It was tripe. It was the inside of a cow's stomach. That's what was menudo.
That's menudo?
Yep, that's
Oh,
menudo.
now I know. I'll never
It's-
eat that
It's the
shit.
inside of a cow's stomach, and that's what you eat when in the morning when you have a hangover. You eat menudo, and it takes it away.
Damn.
Yeah, it's really good for you.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I loved, being on that ranch most of my life. And then they closed it and they took all the land in about 1973 or so. So when I just was getting out of high school and all that, they tore it all down. It's kind of sad.
I didn't know menudo cures hangovers.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Everybody said if you have a hangover, say, is there any menudo? There used to be restaurants that used to have it all the time, like a Mexican
I
restaurant.
feel like the Mexican restaurants
Oh,
do. They'll hide it into the menu, like you don't know.
Oh, yeah. It'll say menudo, it won't say tripe.
Chalupas, menudo,
Yeah.
chicharrones,
Yeah.
all this stuff.
That's pork fat and all
Yeah.
that. Yeah, good stuff. I learned how to eat all of those Spanish dishes as well as the Italian because my last name was Canavello and I'm Italian, so my mom used to, cook all kinds of neat stuff too.
Well, good. Yeah. So what other things were going on back then? How has time changed so much? I mean, they reduced from that whole stretch of land
Oh
to
yeah.
600 acres.
Yeah, it got all sold off, through the years.
Hmm. Yeah, they probably couldn't afford the property taxes down in California.
I don't know, but it's all homes now,
So I forget, when did you move to Spokane?
I moved to Spokane and my mom passed away. I took care of my mother. After my dad passed away in 1988, he told me, he goes, "You take care of your mother." And I said, "I will, Dad." And he goes, "No." And he squeezed my hand really hard and he said, "You promise me you'll take care of your mother." And I said, "I promise, Dad." So he died in 88 and I moved back home with my mom. And I took care of her ever since until She passed away in 2013. Yeah, that's what I did. I really had no life, but every once in a while I do something like, okay, let me think of something. Well, I did things up in Hollywood, because Orange County is where I lived with my mom, and so I'd go up to Hollywood, do things like that. But then in 1998, I get this call, and they said, "How soon can you be in the Bahamas?" And I said, "A week." And they go, "Okay." I got hired by the first, what's it called? The first, first crew, the first performers on the main stage of the Disney Magic cruise ship. Because I had worked for Disney many years before that. I did a karaoke thing, and I did all kinds of things. I was in the Christmas Caroler group, at the Disneyland Hotel and all this. So all of a sudden, they hired me to go to the Bahamas and rehearse for the Disney cruise ship. And so that was like really cool because they did 4 shows. They did one called Disney Dreams, and I played the part of the king of Cinderella's dad, the king. And then I played the part that Danny DeVito played in the movie Hercules. I was Philoctetes, his trainer, and that was a perfect part for me because people think I look like Danny DeVito, so well, I will, I'll be him. So that was really fun. I did that, and I did a lot of shows and stuff, and yeah. So I've been very fortunate. I've done a lot of fun things.
What other voice acting can you do?
I wish. I would be glad to do any kind of stuff that was voice acting because I become, that person. And then when that happens, then I'm completely different. I don't care. Well, who cares? I mean, I just want to be like with the person. I like being another person. I like playing the part of other people because I don't like myself so much. So then, then if I can play another person like an actor or something like that. And I used to do, when I did accent lad. It's hard to understand a real Scot from Scotland. Hootman, So I don't do, accents that good, but I would love to do voiceover work. And I don't know how to do it up here in Spokane. I don't know how to start doing that.
Can you do a Canadian hosiery?
No, by golly, I don't think I can,
Can't do a Canuck?
The way they talk
Up there?
Up there, don't you know? It's more like Minnesota drinking a Mountain Dew. Don't you know?
You're still stuck on that Scottish accent. It's hard to. Can you do Donald? Can you do the president?
No.
No.
No, I tried to do impersonations, and I gave up on that too. I probably could though with my vocal range. And if I really tried, I started to try and do it by hearing the pitch where they started and then keeping that pitch. But I don't remember. I think I tried to do a Jimmy Stewart one time. And I really tried, but it didn't sound like Jimmy Stewart to me. So anyway.
Can you do Beetlejuice?
No. I can't do any of those. No. But you're doing good.
Thank you. I practice.
Yeah.
I practice my voice acting every once in a while. I don't have anything other to do than practice it and probably use it for stand-up comedy or something.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always wanted to be a stand-up comic, but boy, I don't know. That's tough.
It can be if you don't think about it. Like, you have to be thinking about comedy all the time. You're always reaching for bits, always reaching for like word association to try to make something funny. Sometimes when I hit, for me, it's like if I hit, I'm just hit, and I'm just killing it. But there's times where I just don't got it, or I can't reach for that funny thing to say. It's hard to word associate something funny. Like
I can't remember jokes. My sister has the best memory. She can tell me jokes and remember them all. I can't remember one single joke. I mean, I don't know what it is. My memory just doesn't work that way. It's weird because being a musician and singer, I read music. Music is mathematics, man. Count 1, 2, 3, 4. It's all mathematics, but it's on the other side of the brain.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any sense, which to me, I don't even understand it, but.
Did you know Mozart could play 6 instruments by the age of 6?
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, guy was a genius. Yeah, it amazes me, those guys.
Yeah, to think that they have these symphonies in their head.
I know.
And they're able to write it down and get all the pentameter right and everything. It's just really impressive.
Yeah, I've tried to write down music.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, used to play the piano. I couldn't even play scales anymore. See? In other words, I used to play the guitar, and I could still play the guitar a little bit and accompany myself, but I don't even do that anymore, But I need to do that. But I always say I'm going to practice more, but I never do. I just, I like to sing karaoke, because that way I don't have to accompany myself,
Well, nice. What do you do most of the day to keep yourself busy?
Well, that's a good question. Not much. I just really, I bought a new television. I didn't even have a TV for months and months. And I finally went to Walmart and bought a big TV.
I don't have a TV.
Yeah. Well, I watch TV is what I do now.
I'm anti-TV.
I
watch it on my thing. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, TV is like a crutch kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like looking at this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
All the people out in the world, they're like, how you doing? Oh, just a minute, I gotta, they're like this. They don't even look eye to eye anymore. It's kind of sad because these young kids today, you start to talk to them, they go, yeah, and they're going like this. They cannot keep from, they're like addicted to this cell phone thing because they're so used to texting to people, LOL, and all the stuff. And I can't even, I don't do that, but I'm an old man. I'm not used to all this stuff. But these kids, it's hard for them to communicate without that stuff. I feel sorry for them. Have you tried to look a kid in the eye and try and talk to them and stuff? They get distracted and they don't focus and they.
Very insecure.
Yes,
it breeds insecurity in all the Americans.
Yeah.
And the older I get, I start to realize I'm like, fuck, they're all just big kids.
Yeah. It's sad.
Just some are able to articulate more, some are better dressed, some are this, some are that, but they're just big kids. At the end of the day, they don't know where to go to. They always need that adult to go run back to. That's just a whole sidebar conversation. But yeah, you're right. People put up that social shield that prevents them from having any serious communication with others.
If I find that in myself, I don't like it, so I try and be forthright and say how I feel because I believe we're gifted with the freedom of speech and we're able to say, well, here's my opinion on the subject. But nowadays, it's like, oh no, you can't offer your opinion. You offend people that way. So you're not supposed to offend people. Well, I offend a lot of people because I don't believe in political correctness. I just don't. It just can't be right. It hurts people because they get so defensive on stuff now. And they need to agree to disagree and not go, oh, I hate you. You're a racist. Ooh, you're this, you're that. But you're really not. You're just giving your opinion on stuff. And I don't know how to explain it. I mean, I'm not even explaining it good, but it breaks my heart, to offend people that I don't even know, I would never offend people on purpose because I am not that way. God wasn't that way. I don't want to be not like God. I want to be like the way Jesus was, who he talked to everybody. He talked to the poor people, the sick people, all those people, So I want to be able to do that and be patient and not judge. Ooh, that's so hard. Judge not, lest ye yourself be judged, Take that that little thing, your big log that's in your eye, and that way you'll be able to see the little tiny speck that's in the other person's eye. You know, it just goes on and on and on about loving your neighbor as yourself, and don't, you know, yeah, it's tough, but that's the way I want to be. That's the way I want to be.
That's very righteous. So talk about, you said you've had some heart problems in the past. So talk about that.
Back in 2018, I was in my yard mowing my lawn, and all of a sudden I got this big, like my chest was really tight and everything, and I kind of went, oh, this isn't right, man. I feel like I'm having a heart attack. So I went to the doctor, and he said, well, because of your dad dying of a heart attack and your dad's dad dying of a heart attack, my dad died of congestive heart failure. He had 7 bypasses, not all at once, but throughout his end of his life, and his dad died of a heart attack. So I had heart problems in the genes and the heredity and whatever it's called. So anyway, so they said, well, we're going to have to check your heart. So they did an angiogram or whatever they call it. They put a needle in my brachial artery here in my arm and went all the way up and looked into my heart. It was like a camera. And I was awake at the time. I was looking up at this giant screen. And they go, oh, there's blockage there, there's blockage there. Oh, look at that, there's blockage there. And they said, you have a lot of blockage. So what we're going to do is do a triple bypass heart surgery on you. We could have done stents and put stents in, you know, and I'm so thankful they didn't do that because they don't last very long. I found out that stents, they just, whatever grows through it, and they don't help. But it was back in 2018, I had that surgery, and the doctor said, well, since you had no heart disease, you have not had a heart attack, you're going to be as good as new. And that's where I am now. You know, I don't go around running. I don't do exercise like everybody says, oh, you need to, after heart surgery, you need to exercise. I don't do that. But, you know, it's been quite a while, and I feel pretty good. As long as I keep my weight down, you know.
Did you used to exercise?
Never. Not really. When I used to hunt with a bow sometimes, and I'd walk around, you know, and when I went hunting and stuff, I used to ride horses all the time, and that was what I called exercise. Now I ride my Harley Davidson, which is I have a big Harley. I ride that. That's like 114 cubic inches. It's like I don't know what, but it's about the 3rd biggest engine you can have for a Harley, and I ride that in the summertime, you know, as much as I can. It weighs about, I don't know, 700 plus pounds and stuff, and I enjoy riding that down the road. And okay, people never have heard this before. You're riding down the road in your Harley, you don't have big cover helmet or anything. I always wear just a half a helmet, and you're going down the road, and all of a sudden, you're overwhelmed by the scent of a fresh field of violets or fresh flowers or freshly cut hay. All these smells come into you. Have you ever heard of that before?
I've heard people experience it.
But they never say it, you know?
Yeah.
They never say, yeah, I like to ride my motorcycle because I like the smells, you know?
Yeah.
It's amazing, the things, it's overwhelming. It's just, it fills my heart with joy when I smell, you know, it just makes you know that you're just in nature or whatever, going down the road, you know? I don't know how to explain it.
I could see that. No, I could see that.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I ride the Green Bluff a lot, you know, and I don't go real far. I think I haven't been to Leavenworth in a long time because that's too far away. But I think I went to Montana not too long ago, and I was on the freeway for like 3 hours or so. Where did I go? I can't even remember where I went to Montana. Far away, anyway. I decided it was this summer, so it was real recent. I got on my bike and I said, I'm going to get on my bike and go. And I ended up going for about 4 hours, man. That was a long time. And now I know why I don't like it. At my age, when you're driving down the freeway, it's too much to think about. You have to be focused, man, because you get tired, your arms get tired, you have to constantly, you know, keep your speed. I don't know. It's just not as fun as it used to be, you know. And I don't ride with people. I never do that anymore. I used to ride with friends and stuff, but I guess I don't have any friends anymore. But I'm kind of a loner. I would call myself a lone wolf, just because that's, you know, there's a Harley Davidson place out off of Barker Road called Lone Wolf Harley Davidson. And when I moved up here, that's where I went. I started buying Harleys up there, and I started. I married the owners, Greg and his wife Holly. I married them at the Coeur d'Alene Resort.
As like a justice of the peace?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
it's
so
like
you're a justice
ordained
of the peace.
minister. Yeah, I
Okay.
used to do a lot of weddings, but I haven't done one in years. You know, but yeah, I don't. You know, but I used to do church services at the Brookdale, that old people's home, every Sunday morning. Boy, I'd preach for an hour. You know, do a church service and stuff like that, because I think that's what God wanted me to do. Obviously, you know, that's what I try and do, is what God's will is, not what my will is. Thy will be done, Lord, not mine, you know, and that's the way I try and look at my life, but it's so hard to do that, you know.
Damn. Well, that's a good thing to do. And so, I mean, I guess you never really answered it, but we'll go back to it. How do you warm up for opera?
That's a great question. Now it's easy for me to do, because I just go, I'll be sitting in my car doing something, driving somewhere where I know I might sing, and I'll go, and I'll go all the way up to way high, and then I'll come all the way down, and then I'll go, and I'll go all the way up to that, and then come down, and that's all I do. And if you did that every day or whatever, before you're gonna sing, it would help you. It would open up it would help you to sing higher and whatever. So.
Can you do some wailing, like on like rock metal?
No, you know what that's called? Oh gosh, I used to remember what the word was. Oh man. No, I never sing like that, because it's not good for your throat and for your voice. Like even Paul McCartney did that. You know, when he used to sing high, like "Hey Jude," "Hey Judy, 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 Judy," you know, and he would do that. But I have never had that kind of voice, and never wanted to do that kind of singing, because it's more rock. Like back in the '70s, when I used to sing all those kinds of music, that was my favorite time, because of all the different kinds I told you about. And then as soon as like the Rolling Stones started, I can't get no, you know, and then past that, it became too much for me, and I didn't even listen to rock and roll anymore. And even Led Zeppelin, "Stairway to Heaven." I remember doing high school proms with my band. I was in a band for years, man. Best band ever. First of all, it was so good because the piano player was the the head of the vocal department at Cal State University of Fullerton. So she was like, could read anything, sing anything, played anything on the piano. And then we had the best drummer, we had the best bass player, we had the best lead guitar, because they were all from like special trained musicians. And so we could sing and play anywhere. And so we did every single weekend. We'd be at either a wedding reception or some kind of a gig, you know, where we'd play. We played for Richard Nixon at his house in, it was called, it was in San Clemente.
Yeah,
and it was
I love
called
San
Casa
Clemente.
Pacifica was its house. We had to get FBI clearance to play there for some reason. I can't remember why. But we played all over, you know. And so that was probably my greatest experience with music, was singing in that band, because we had a girl singer too. And I could show you pictures of my, you know, girl singer, but her name was Jan, and she is in Nashville now, and her name's Jana Brown, and she's a country western singer, you know. So, but anyway, yeah, great time. I've had a great life. I've sung, I've rode horses, I've hunted, I've done, I don't know how to explain it. I mean, I've told you about things that I've done, and I just could go on and on, probably.
Well, who's your favorite country music singer from, uh, I guess, the 80s on? You can start naming them.
Well, there's a song called, I remember hearing Vince Gill. Do you know who that is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I remember hearing him sing a song, and it's called Go Rest High on That Mountain. Son, your job on earth is done. Go to heaven a shouting, praise the Father and the Son. You know, it's a great song for any kind of a funeral or just it's a wonderful song. So when I heard him sing that, I wanted to learn that song and stuff. So, and I've never really gotten into country western, you know, like what's his name, Williams. All those old cowboys and stuff. I never got into singing all that stuff because I never got into country because it made me cry when the songs were so sad. So I never sang country western stuff. You know.
Yeah, it's hard when you get a song that chokes you up.
Oh,
especially
well, you
when
see
you know
how
it's
I get choked up.
Yeah,
I can just think of something in my life that has happened, and I'll start crying.
Mm-hmm.
I am the most emotional person I know. I don't know if it's because of my heart surgery or what, but my heart is like so. I mean, I can't even think of stuff. I start crying, you know. I don't know why. I guess this is the way I am.
Hey, that ain't bad, I guess, and that's good reflection on life.
I'm a crybaby.
Because I could imagine when you were younger that you were more heartless, you know, not as sensitive. I wouldn't say heartless, just not as sensitive. Like, I'm not as sensitive to certain things, I don't think, until I really think back on it, or you have to really think deeply, like this, you know, it could be worse.
Yeah.
It could be way worse.
Well, yeah. When I think about singing times, I sang at my father's funeral. I sang at my mother's funeral. I've sung at funerals that one time I was at this funeral, and this kid was 15 years old, and I remember seeing him in town at a bike shop talking to his friends and everything, and then all of a sudden I look in the paper, and here's his name and his picture, and I go, I remember that kid, and he was killed. He was in a cocaine bust and shot like 5 times, and here I am singing, and then just before I had to sing, well, first of all, it was an open casket, which was really weird because he had like holes in his face where they had to cover with like clay or makeup or something.
Yeah,
that was the weirdest thing. And then his brother comes up and goes, "Oh yeah, man, we used to do that," and talking about all their good old times. And here I had to sing the Lord's Prayer and be, you know, like composed. That's really hard to do. Is to be at a place where everybody's crying their guts out because of somebody dying or whatever's happened, and me going, okay, here I am ready to sing, you know. That's hard to do.
That is tough. That is tough. Damn. Yeah, funerals, they are sad.
Oh, yeah.
I've been to several of them. Tired of going to. I told all my Marine buddies, I said, if you kill yourself, I am not going to your funeral.
I don't go to funerals anymore.
Like, I can't afford to go to your funeral. You fuckers kill yourselves too often.
Yeah, the suicide rate for military is really high.
Yeah, it's hard to adapt in the civilian society. Like, I mean, you said it. People are very offended. It's easy to offend people. It's easy to be misunderstood.
Yeah.
And these people are so sensitive. It's almost like they crave fakeness in a way. Some of them only respond to fakeness, and I don't respond to that at all. I hate fakeness.
I can't do that.
Yeah, it's just, you're just showing me it means to me when you're being fake that you are lying. You're showing a false version of yourself.
Exactly.
You should be and that's going to wear on that person.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to it's hard to, it's like an actor, like Jim Carrey said, like you're in this role and you get back and you get depressed. You need to go into deep rest from that role.
Yeah.
Because you're going into this role pretending you're something you're not. And it's just difficult.
Yeah.
But that's just a random tangent that I'm running down. But you got this good Christmas song. So talk about this. When did you decide to record your Christmas song album?
Oh, I've made so many recordings I can't even remember. And I'm not sure what all's on the. It's probably karaoke stuff. I'm not really sure because I can't play it because I don't have a DVD player anymore. The one in my car is broken and all that. So and the one at my house is broken, so I can't play. But anyway, I love recording stuff because then it's for like ever, And then if it says Gary Canavello, then after I'm dead and gone, they'll go, Gary Canavello, oh yeah, singing, oh yeah, whoa, I like that song, oh, those songs, At least I have left something behind, Because usually when people die, especially nowadays, it's like, oh, they're gone, see ya. And then they go on with their life. Well, that's the way it is now. But, I mean, it's even weirder because when the person is no longer around, out of sight, out of mind, or whatever, it's like, I don't know, it's just different nowadays. When people are gone away or move away, they're just forgotten to me. It's like sad. Because I have to talk to my sister once a week in California because I love her. She's my only family left, And she's got kids and she's, I don't have anybody. I don't have any family here. I don't have any friends. I don't have anybody. So I just, and you said, what do you do when you're home? I don't do much. I mean, it's sad. I don't have a life. I've been collecting unemployment and trying to do that because when I got laid off at my job delivering flowers, which was back in August, they said, well, you can collect unemployment. So the day after that, I tried to collect unemployment. And ever since then, I've been going through hearings and court appearances and talking to a judge. Well, you quit your job at so-and-so and you did this, and they will not pay unemployment anymore. They just fight it. Everybody's fighting it and don't do it. And I'm going, hey, you know what? I'm sorry, but I earned it. I mean, I paid into it, They don't care.
No.
So
of course they don't. I don't mess with unemployment.
Yeah.
It's not worth it to me.
Oh, well, see, I fight for it, and I got it, and I've been collecting it, but it's been a fight. It's never ending. I just got a letter in the mail from the Department of Unemployment, whatever. We are disagreeing with the findings of your unemployment, and all this. Why? Why can't they just say, you went to a job, they told you they can't use you anymore, they laid you off, they said collect unemployment, you start collecting unemployment, that's that. No, they went back to the previous job and they said, well, you quit your job there. And I said, yeah, because I left that job to go to a better job that is a mom and pop company that pays a higher rate of pay, and it was going to deliver flowers at floral shops. That's a good job. Why do they fight it so much,
So has it been difficult for you to find a job?
Kind of, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I went on Indeed.com and started applying. It's
I don't mess with that shit.
Well, it's ridiculous. Well, that's the only way you can. First of all, okay, here's the thing. I think I'll go to this company where I want to work and apply for a job. You go to the company and you go in their store, Big Five Sporting Goods. Hi, I'd like to find out are you hiring right now? Yeah, as a matter of fact, we are. Oh, okay, good. Can I fill out an application? Oh, no, you have to go online. That's where it differs than any kind of life you used to have. Every time you go online, it goes, oh, how about a job at Amazon.com instead? Oh, how about this? Oh, you go online to Big Five Sporting Goods and it has an app and you try and fill it out. Well, we need this and this and this. Well, we need that. And now you need to sign the app. I don't have wherewithal I can't sign things on my computer. It's one thing after another. In other words, it's a pain. It's nothing but trouble to try and go on your computer and fill out applications and do all this stuff that they're asking for you to do. but they insist upon it. Sorry, if you didn't go online and fill out an app, we can't talk to you. And they don't even talk to you. And if you go to the store, they certainly can't talk to you. But if you get an interview, hi, we liked what we saw in your, application, so we wanted to bring you in for an interview. And you go to an interview, they go, oh, thank you so much. Well, we'll let you know. Never hear from them. I think I'm too old, is what I think.
Convenience stores might take you.
Well, yeah, see, why would I want to work at a convenience store? I mean, at a dollar store or, well, anywhere.
Or num num.
Yeah, I want to work at 71 years old. I want to go to work at a gas station and have a guy come in with a gun going, give me all your money or I'll shoot you.
Aren't you on?
Oh, I think I'll wonder, what would it be like if I shot you? I'm going to find out. Boom. Oh, that was cool, man.
You're
That's
71.
what people do. Yeah. That's what people do nowadays. They go, gee, I don't care what the consequence is. Besides that, I won't go to jail because they never put anybody in jail no matter what they do anymore. So they go, gee, I think I'll just, rob this store. I think I'll do this. I'll do that. The law-abiding citizen today is not protected as well as the scumbag, thief, and robber, and liar, and cheater, and person that commits crimes. That's my saying.
Aren't you eligible for Social Security?
Oh, I get Social Security.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, every month I get Social Security.
All right.
I started collecting that when I was 62.
Okay, yeah.
But I don't make enough because I always took care of my mom, so I always had to use work part-time jobs,
Mm-hmm.
and I never worked full-time, so I never got that much money into it. So I make $910 a month Social Security, which is enough to live on.
Nah, you need another job.
Yeah, so there you go. So you know all about me.
That's rough.
Yeah.
But you keep fighting. That's what matters.
That's what I am.
That's all you can do. Is
That's
just
all I can do. I don't want to
set
drop dead or
goals.
do anything.
So, what do you think would be an achievable goal that you could get done by the end of next year?
If I could audition for a 70s band, I would get that audition because I know all those songs. If it's anything 80s, 90s, forget it. If it's anything earlier, like the 20s or whatever, roaring 20s, forget it. I don't want to do that. I want to do the 70s because that's all types of music. Okay, so if I got to audition for a band like that, which I haven't tried that hard, but I mean, I'd love to do that. That would be cool because on the weekends you could do weddings and, writing receptions and work for a couple hundred. But see, now they don't pay anybody anymore either. For a whole band, they used to pay, $2,000-$3,000 or more or something. I guess now I don't know what they pay for bands, I don't know. But I would love to do that. I would love to do voiceover work. That would be cool. Doing all kinds of different voices, because I know I could do that too. Give me a character and I'll. There's a lot of things I'd like to do, but I mean, there's a lot of things I don't want to do at my age. I've been there, done that, too old. I don't want to do that kind of stuff. But I think people don't hire people because of their age, and it's discriminatory.
You ever thought about starting a singing group and only doing like $10 lessons or something? Once a
Oh, you
week?
mean, wait a minute. That's two different things. Starting a singing group and $10 lessons, that would be teaching people how to sing. That's two completely different things. Being a singing instructor, I wouldn't even know where to begin because I can't play the piano. So, you can't go, okay, let's do this song, and it's frustrating. I've done it before. I used to teach voice lessons, for years ago I did that. And I've taught people how to sing, but I don't want to do that. But what was the other thing?
Starting a singing group.
Oh, yeah. Singing groups what kind of music do they like nowadays?
You determine it. You say this is the singing group, and they can come together and they can all collaborate. And you're just the head of the group, and you're like the director.
Yeah, I've done that before too.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, I did that. I was a director of singing groups. As a matter of fact, I was the director of the Orange County Gospel group. which we had like 75 singers, and we'd sing quartet music, it was all old traditional Southern style gospel music, which was like uh, um, the Old Rugged Cross, or all these old hymns that you sing, like um, I come to the garden alone while the dew is still on the roses. And you put four parts in there, and it just sounds beautiful. And I used to sing in a group called the Ambassadors, and we used to just have the perfect blend, and we recorded a bunch of songs, and I have CDs about them, and all that. But singing in big groups now, we used to rent a church, at night and rehearse there and stuff. It's gone. It's gone. There's nothing like that anymore. They don't do that.
You could probably do it for free.
Well, I would, but I mean, if I could, but then nobody's interested. How do I get interest? How do I say? People have told me to go on. What's that thing called Craigslist or something?
No, I can help you get your group started.
Really?
If you want to start a group, I can do the marketing for you.
Well,
Online.
That's why I'm doing this right now, is because I know you have all this wherewithal to do this stuff. And if you could help me in any way doing the things I love, I couldn't pay you back, because it would be so worth it to me. You'd be saving my life, is what you'd be doing.
Yeah, just lock down, just find the venue, and then dedicate your time to be there, and I will market. And we'll see how it works. And I'm trying it right now with my own thing.
Yeah.
With my own study group that I've started. The first time 2 people showed, I had an event last night and nobody showed. So, but you never know. But I think it's just a matter of being consistent. And eventually people will see it and it'll catch on. The consistency is what gets you, recognized.
Well, the last group I sang in was a church, and that's another thing. I've been singing in a church or singing with a chaplain and a pastor, because he does both. He has 2 different venues. I've been with him for 2 years now. I've never made one single penny doing all the singing. And I've sang at funerals for him, hey Gary, here's a funeral, we need you to sing. Never paid nothing. And I used to get paid $175 per song, because how many times can you get an opera singer to sing a song,
So maybe he would be willing to let you use his church as the gathering place.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be no problem at all. I would love to do that. What I'm doing right now is looking into something that I was going to let you hear, because it's a song that I recorded with a group. And let me think. Oh, that's not it. That's my. Oh, yes, it is. Well, anyway.
Oh, okay, cool.
Well,
And then it shut off.
no, actually, it goes on for like a long time, of all the different things I've done. But I don't want to, I don't want to bore you with that.
No, that's all right.
Well,
So I think, yeah, maybe if you could probably get a really cool group started.
oh, this is the Oprah Winfrey thing I did.
We thought this was a good idea. And
Put it in front of the
camera.
camera.
17 truckload of tapes came in. We weren't so sure. We received so many thousands of tapes from everyone, from
I guess put it in the
jugglers
mic.
to baton twirlers,
Yeah.
to serious actors and
Right in
actresses.
front of the mic.
Here's just a sample of some
Like
of the
right in
things
front
we
of the mic
received.
to you. So does it get to your part? Are you able to skip to your part? Oh, there's Gary Canavello. There we go.
she points at me and stuff like that. But anyway, no, that isn't even what I was looking for actually. Here it is, right here.
I love coffee, I love tea. I love the joy that it loves me. Coffee and tea and the joy and me. A cup, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup. I like that better. Yeah. I love Java, sweet and hot. Oops, Mr. Photo, I'm a coffee pot. Shoot me the pot and I'll pour me a shot. A cup, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup. Oh, slip me a slug from that wonderful mug.
Are you coming up? Almost, yeah.
Till I'm stuck in a jug. A slice of onions and a raw one. Draw one.
Waiter, percolator.
I love coffee, I love tea. I
I'm
love
coming up pretty soon.
the joy that it loves me. Coffee and tea and the joy and me. A cup, a cup,
This
a
is
cup,
me
a
coming
cup,
up.
a cup. Boston beans. Soybeans. I said those itty bitty little green beans. Average and green. You know that I'm not keen about a bean unless it is a cherry coffee bean. Coffee boy. I love Java.
That's good, dude.
It's almost over. It's a hard song.
Taking it slow, waiter, waiter, percolator. Coffee and tea. I love the joy
Almost over.
that it loves me. Oh, I love coffee and tea and the joy and me. A cup, a cup, a cup, a cup. Wow.
Nice.
That was
Sounded like an old school radio commercial.
actually it
From
was
World War II. Like, buy war bonds, kids, buy war bonds.
Yeah, it's a song. It's a group called Manhattan Transfer. That is a jazz group, and that was a church that I sang in, and there were like 6 of us or 7 in the church. I mean, in the choir, and so that's who sang that. So it was fun. It was a blast. But see, that was when I was in California and years. Gosh, it's got to be what 10, 12 years ago or something. In fact, I remember now, that's exactly 2013 is when it was, because my mom passed away and I was in that group then, and it was a Anglican church, which was a Catholic church, which I'm not a Catholic, but I was a paid singer, so you know. Anyway, good song, man.
Well, it sounds like it'd be a lot of great energy to get, men and women together and
So
start
much fun.
harmonizing with your voices.
it-
I think that would be something I'd be willing to do if you would find some place like that. And then,
You have to have the right singers though, because they have to blend and they can't stick out and they can't, it's not as easy as it looks or sounds.
well, that would be the challenge,
Yeah.
with a singing group, getting people together and maybe get these regulars and they get together and they sing and you guys go and do things as a group. I think it'd be a great bonding thing.
Oh, I can see ourselves singing at like the Davenport Hotel or something.
Yeah, like Christmas stuff.
Oh,
and all
that'd be a blast. Yeah. Every year I sang in Christmas
4th
caroling.
of July things.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like proud to be an American.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you, I miss that kind of stuff.
Well, then get back into it. There's no excuse not to. You got the
Well-
venue. You just tell me when. I'll make a flyer and we'll post it all over
Wow.
social media, and we'll just do it. You just got to be consistent.
Well, then if we're talking about that, then
Boom
why?
or bust. Got to be consistent.
Well, I know, but couldn't we, instead of doing that particular thing, do like a voiceover? You know, me advertising for voiceover work, or me advertising for not group stuff. I would more be like just for me. It's selfish, but I want to, you know, do something that I can do without any other people.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Well, the thing is, the group is what they'll be the tool to get you there because your network is your net worth. That's a law. It's a physical law. It's called Metcalfe's law.
Really?
Yes. Your network is your net worth. So once
Wow.
you get these people around you, your options increase for singing things because these people are equally interested
Yeah.
in singing. And if you are the guy who puts it together, the guy, you know, you're you. And they're like, yeah, Gary's the guy who leads it. You're going to start your own subculture
Wow.
within Spokane for
That'd be a
singing.
blast.
Yeah.
That'd be a
Separate
blast.
from other people
Yeah.
who do their own things in the industry. You do your thing. You have your thing. And I think it would be cool, like, because I've never seen that advertised, an acapella group or like a co-ed acapella group. You like, we sing 60s, 70s, all
Oh
sorts
yeah,
of
there's
crap,
barbershop singers, you know. You've heard of barbershop singing, right?
right? Not the group. I'm just talking about around here.
Right. The Society for the Preservation and Encouragement of Barbershop Singing in America. It's a group. That's the title of the group.
Oh,
Is the Society for the Preservation and Encouragement of Barbershop Singing in America. That's the name of the group. And they get together and they all sing barbershop quartet harmony, 4-part harmony. And I guess there's groups like that here in Spokane. I'm sure there is. There's got to be. But see, those guys are different than what you just heard. They don't like to sing that kind of jazz stuff. They like to sing my old, you know, Coney Island baby. Goodbye, my Coney Island baby. Hello, my old sweet. You know, they sing all these songs that are barbershop songs. You know. So anyway, I've never heard of groups around here, but
I know. That's a market void that could be filled.
Maybe you're right. Yeah.
So talk about these cowboy. Oh no! First, I want to ask you because I went to that the thing for. Oh, is that show you were most recently on?
Going home.
Going home. That one.
Yeah.
I actually went to that announcement deal, the premiere or whatever the hell.
At the Fox Theater?
Yeah, at the Fox. That's where it was.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. I think I remember seeing your bit in there.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was on 4 episodes, which was really fun. You know, it was the best thing I've done since I've been up here. I just loved it.
So what did you do on that?
I was that's where that Carl Schaefer comes in, the guy that did a Zombie. He's the one that must have talked to a casting director. And she called me up and said, Gary, we'd like you to do a couple of episodes of a TV show. And I went, okay. Didn't even know what it was. Didn't even know anything about it. She gets my costume. I go to get costume fitted. They paid me $175 or something for that. Then come time they gave me my script, which was me as a guy named Stuart. And I was in a grief share group. Where people have their husbands or wives or kids or something die, and you're in this grief share group to learn about helping you get over it. Mm-hmm. And so it was a little table with people around talking about their people that have died and stuff like that. And the show was called Going Home. It was about the nurse that was in the hospital, that was the hospice nurse, and it was at the hospital is where we met. You know, the grief share group met at a table in one of the rooms there. And that was my part.
Cool.
Yeah, it was great. I loved it.
Yeah, so what was it like on the set?
just like any other thing where you have a director, you have the camera crew, you have the lighting, you have everything all set up. They go action and you do the scene and then they go cut, and then they do it again and then it's just a regular TV show. And the director was Dan Merchant, and he's like some famous director around here. He does write. Him and his wife write scripts for all kinds of stuff. But the last time I talked to him in person was that he said, "Oh yeah, Gary." He goes, "You're a good actor. You're a natural." And he goes, "And I'm gonna next time, the next show we do, we're gonna have you be a regular on that show, and you can sing song, because he heard me sing and all that." So that's the last. That was like almost 2 years ago last time we spoke, and I think I emailed him or texted him and I said, "Hey, when are we going to do season 3 of Going Home?" And he goes, "Well, this business, I don't know. They have to have funding, they have to have a TV station to do it on, and all this stuff. It's not like Netflix, but like Plex or like, Fubu or whatever those TV stations are, Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to get done. So I don't know what's happened, after COVID and after the strike, or the Screen Actors Guild strike last year and all that stuff, put everything back, a year, and there's a lot of stuff. I don't know what's going on because I'm not in the biz.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't want to be in the biz. I just want to do the show. I don't want to be like, Dan Schaefer and hang out with all these people and, I'm not.
What's your favorite food dish to cook?
Oh gosh, steak. I shot a 320-pound wild boar, and I used to eat that. That was pretty tasty.
How'd you prepare that?
I would put it in. I would cut it up in real small kind of strips or something, and then I'd put red wine in it and let it soak in that for like 24 hours. And then I'd just throw it on the grill or throw it on the griddle or something, and it was pretty tasty. Yeah. I showed you a picture of that, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good.
My wild pig, yeah. Yeah, but I don't cook that much.
Mm.
I go to a place called Bearded Ginger down the street, and it's on the corner of Vista and Sprague, and it's a little dumpy little restaurant place, like a dive bar.
Mm-hmm.
They have the best ribeye steak and the best top sirloin steak and the best brisket I've ever eaten. So I will take you there today and buy you lunch if you want to go, or buy you dinner.
Well, take that. I'll take a rain check on that because my dad's coming with the dogs. So
I forgot about that.
But that does make me hungry for delicious brisket. I love it. Do you like it when it's wet or dry?
Wet.
Wet, okay.
Yeah,
So you like it wet.
Steeped and it's all crispy. It's like burnt almost.
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite brisket.
Mm-hmm.
And they sell it like, I had a brisket sandwich. It was called a barbecue Sammy, I think it called. They could either put pork or they could do brisket. And it was brisket, and it was like a big hamburger with all brisket, just stacks and stacks of brisket. And man, it was good.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's what my friend Danny Woodbury is doing right now. He got a truck. He's going to put it on himself, a food truck.
That's tough. That's hard work.
It is hard work. That's all he does is work hard. And he's the pacemaker bodybuilder. He's got a pacemaker in his chest. He's got his channel. He's the first guy I ever started off with. Him and another guy, Scott Matlock, for Scraps. And we were doing Spokane-Animal, but we stopped doing Spokane-Animal. But
Scraps. I had a dog. I had a beautiful Australian Shepherd, and he weighed almost 80 pounds. He was a big Australian Shepherd, and his name was Zeus. And I got him at not Scraps, but that the other animal place, Animal something.
Spokane-Animal?
No, it was called.
Humane Society?
No, it was just a little tiny place next to I can't remember. It's on Sprague anyway. But anyway, I got, and he came down with cancer, and I had to put him down. Yeah, so I haven't bought another dog in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But I love dogs. I love cats. In fact, I don't know if I showed you a picture of the cats I used to have, but and if you don't want to, just let me know if you want to. Oh, here's a TV commercial I did. I used to work for Toyota, and that was the first RAV4
Yeah, I
commercial.
remember you showed me that.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was
Did
you're a
much-
bellhop.
Yeah, yeah. And then when I lived in the Bahamas, that's what I got to see every morning.
So what was it like living in the Bahamas? That's phenomenal.
Oh, it was great. The people were wonderful. And then this was Italy. When I lived in Italy, I lived in Venice, Italy.
Well, you need to talk about that. Talk
Really?
about the Bahamas. What was that like?
Well,
What's the cost of living? Where did you live? What?
I lived in a place called Guanahani Village, which was an apartment house. And in fact, my roommate was a famous guy now. His name is Jeff Whiting, and he is a famous guy in New York that does all kinds of film stuff and actors and dancing and choreography and everything. If you look up his name, he is the one that played the part of Peter Pan and was in those Disney shoots with me, those Disney things. And so he and I were roommates and stuff, and very, very talented guy, But anyway, that was called Castle di Franco, which when I was in Italy, I was walking down the road and I see to my left this 80-foot high wall, 12-foot thick, with a moat around it, and there was a city inside it.
That's cool.
Castle di Franco. Yeah, I took a bunch of pictures. There's my Philoctetes role as Hercules. That was a satyr, I think they called him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then here was me as the king, Cinderella's dad.
Mm-hmm.
So and then like I said, I got tons of stuff. But I know something that's really sad is the fact that not sad. Oh, here's a picture of my cat watching TV. With this
That's a good picture.
with this little space helmet on,
That's a good one.
But anyway, I know I could show you a lot of pictures, but what were we talking about?
Oh,
You want to know about the Bahamas?
yeah.
Oh man, you go down and you go driving down the beach and you stop, and all of a sudden the people would say, "Hey, would you?" And you ask for, "I would like a conch salad, please." They go, okay, and they go down and they come back with one of those conchs, those shells where you go,
Mm-hmm.
and they reach in and pull this animal out and they put it on a board and they start cutting it up, and then they add spices like red peppers and orange peels and cucumber and carrots and celery and all stuff, and make it all up and chop it all up and put it in a bowl and add all this, and that's your salad, man. It was like sushi almost, but it was delicious.
Sushi snail.
Oh, conch salad, man, it was so good. So I remember the food was really good there, and it was just that was when I was working for Disney, and we'd go to rehearsals, and then after rehearsals I'd go out on the where the apartments were.
Well, wait, hold on. What were you doing in the Bahamas for Disney?
That was the Disney Cruise Line.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they didn't make they didn't have the boat built yet. So during that time of rehearsing all these shows, they took us to the Bahamas, and we rehearsed at this like hotel on the stage, there. And then when we weren't working there, I'd go get my snorkel and fins and stuff, and go out in the bay and go snorkeling and stuff. And man, one time I was clearing my mask, and I go to step down, and like this far away from my foot was a tail about this long, and this black manta ray went up like this and was longer than my arms.
Yeah, the manta rays.
Oh, it's huge. And if I would have stepped on the tail, it would have come up and got me.
That's happened to me.
Yeah.
I stepped on a stingray surfing.
Oh.
Yeah, it got infected too. My foot got infected because it went right up in there.
Oh,
my
that
right
hurts
foot.
thinking about it.
Oh, it. My first thought, because I was just waiting. I came back into shore and I started wading out, and I knew I had stepped on something, and I felt it move and sting me in the bottom of my foot, and I saw the little bastard flutter off in the shallow water, and it hurt. And my first thought was shit. think back of all your knowledge of aquatic animals. What
Yeah.
stingrays are poisonous here in California?
Pee on it.
I ended up going to the emergency room because I didn't fucking know what to do. But they did an X-ray because they wanted to make sure nothing was stuck in there, like the stinger hadn't been broken off or anything. And it ended up getting infected later, so I needed to get antibiotics for it. But
I heard.
But yeah, I used to go free diving for a lobster off the coast of Southern California, and the only time to go for a lobster is at night.
Oh,
So I would be snorkeling in this bay.
oh, that's crazy.
And it was a lot of fun. It was a hell of a thrill. But I'd go down. I'd get a lot of lobster. We call them bugs because they literally look like giant cockroaches. And
I
looking
love
back,
lobster.
yeah, now looking back on it, I'm not gonna eat lobster. They're just bugs now.
It was my favorite. My mom's favorite was she always loved lobster. You know.
Lobster is a strange thing because there is not a shortage of it, but it's so overpriced.
Oh yeah.
It's just the illusion of a shortage, kind of like the diamond industry. So that's what's interesting. But out free diving, I would every once in a while I would come across these bat rays. So these bat rays weren't manta rays, but they're big. I mean, a bat ray is big. A bat ray is like almost my arm's width.
Yeah.
They're freaking big. And just going along with my dive light. My dive light is 1,000 lumens, anti-shark, anti-fish mostly. I don't see many fish when I'm out there.
Barracudas.
Well, not the barracuda wouldn't be this close where I was at, but I was shining the light, and all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I see an eyeball looking at me, and it's one of those moments like off the movie Jurassic Park where you're like, you don't want to look, but you gotta look, and then you look, and I see this big old bat ray just looking at me with his eye, like, and then he just takes off and flutters away, and I felt that movement when he fluttered off. I was like, whoa, he's got some power. Yeah, but manta rays, those are something cool. I love the ocean. I love the getting out there and exploring a world that humans don't have much contact with, and until you get out in the ocean and experience the wildlife, you feel, because you become part of the food chain. And
I could hold my breath for a long time because of my singing, my lung capacity and stuff. So I could when I was in Hawaii, I remember on Maui, we did snorkeling, and man, I was like way down, and I'd look up and I'd see all these snorkelers, But yeah, I enjoyed snorkeling, but I'll never forget when I was in the Bahamas. Are we done?
Well, no, the camera shut off.
Yeah. Are we still recording our voices?
We're still recording.
So I remember being in the Bahamas, and I bought a watch. I bought a Breitling watch, which was like similar to a Rolex. Breitlings are really expensive, and it was you didn't have to pay tax in the Bahamas. So I buy this Breitling watch, and I'm wearing it, and I'm going snorkeling. And this buddy of mine that was next door was a captain on the Coast Guard, and he said, "Are you wearing that watch while you're snorkeling?" I go, "Yeah, it's really cool. It's waterproof and everything." And he said, "Wow." He goes, "Well, I hope a shark looks at that, and if a shark takes it, you won't feel it, because the shark's teeth are so sharp that it'll just take your whole hand, and you won't even know it until it's gone. But if it's a barracuda, and he sees that, he'll like rip it, and your hand will be just torn to shreds." And I said, "Oh, thanks for the advice, So he told me that, and I didn't wear the watch after that. So that was good advice. The advice was about the wearing a watch that is really like $7,500 watch, and the barracuda will just rip your hand off.
Yeah, they're bastards. I've caught a lot of barracuda off the Southern Californian coast, and they're aggressive as shit. And it's dangerous when you catch them and you pull them up on deck, because they can still bite you.
Yeah.
And you see their teeth. They're nasty fucking teeth, man. They're aggressive bastards.
That scared me, because my next door neighbor, who was a captain in the Coast Guard, said, "Don't wear that watch, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. But yeah, any other cool stories? Oh, talk about Italy. Talk more about Italy. How was the food?
Well,
what did that experience feel like?
the food was the best. I never wanted to leave because I'm walking down the street and I start crying because I said, oh my gosh, I'm home. I go, I feel like this is like my genes came out of my body. It was like they were telling my brain, this is your home. This is where you belong in Italy, you know, because I'm Italian. So I'm walking down the street. You go into a little tiny place like the size of smaller than this room, and they have all kinds of wines. And you go, what? And you have an empty bottle of like a Dr. Pepper 2-liter empty bottle, and you go, I would like that wine right up there. And they go, okay, and they fill it up, and it costs $2, and you have a big 2-liter thing of wine that is your favorite wine. You know, the cheeses, the pastries, the meats, different meats they had. Everything was just didn't compare to America. I mean, it tasted like the best you've ever eaten. I mean, Europe is just like the food in Europe is different than America. I don't know how to explain it, but I just loved it there. I loved it. I did find out when I went to a restaurant there that they don't sing. Remember how if you're in a restaurant, an Italian restaurant or a pizza or whatever, and you can sing a song, you know, oh, I love you, and they go, oh, a singer, sing, you know. Well, in Italy, if you're in a restaurant, they only allow singing in churches and in concerts. And so it has to be a really sacred type of thing to where they allow you to sing and you're, you know, in a church, or you're doing a concert or something, because if you start singing in some restaurant, they'll just go, what are you doing, man? You know, it's just not what you think, you know. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
So, I guess that would seem like here in America, if somebody started singing in a restaurant, you
if
would
it
think
was good, you know,
yeah.
it'd be okay. They'd go, oh, he's singing, oh, he's, you know, that's great. But not in Italy. They don't really, they kind of frown on it. I didn't know that.
So how often do you sing in public? I mean, I've seen you do it.
Yeah.
How often are you going and singing at different restaurants and stuff?
Never. But for some reason, it was like a pizza place or something. And I thought, oh, you know, I think I'll break out into a song or an Italian song, you know? Nah.
Maybe they thought you were being rude and misappropriating their culture some shit, or making fun of them because they could tell you're an American.
They didn't. Yeah, they didn't.
I could see that if I went to like some Mexican restaurant in Mexico and I started singing like de colores esta. And just started singing like some white guy trying to sing fucking Spanish.
Well, I think the difference was
see that.
in Spanish. There's a song called Granada. Yeah, and it's an operatic song, you know. But you could sing that in a Mexican restaurant and people would cheer, you know, and like it, you know. But so.
Well, good stuff. It's already past 3:00. I didn't realize it.
Oh man.
Yeah. But either way,
we've been here 2 hours.
Just about.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, time flies. Time flies. Oh, I love these podcasts. So let's see here. Last question. Second last questions. First one is book suggestions. What book suggestions do you have for people to read?
The Bible.
The Bible.
It's where you get wisdom, knowledge, everything that is good comes from there because God is good. And I don't suggest anything but reading Psalms and Proverbs and all those things. And if you start reading the Bible, God will reward you for that. And just all kinds of things happen. Bible's a good book.
And
that's why they call it the good book.
And last but not least, where can people find you?
Wow, that's a good question. Well, I can tell you, I'm on Facebook, and my name is Gary Canavello on Facebook, And you can see a lot of things on there, I think. YouTube, look up Gary Canavello on YouTube, and you can see a lot of things there, like me singing in concerts with an orchestra, or me doing TV commercials and things like that. They're on YouTube. Yeah, but I would love to add to that,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I'm doing this for, is so I can get myself out there more, because nobody knows about me.
Yeah. Hey, I feel you. I feel you. It's a tough one, but I would like to thank the audience for listening to the podcast all the way to the end. It's because of people like you that I just keep doing this. So be sure to like, subscribe, and smash that bell for more data-driven updates. Bye.